This is for the Gen Z and Millennials. How hard is it for you to buy a home? I can afford the month-to-month mortgage. I cannot, however, afford a down payment and #X200B. Edit. Thanks for the advice in the replies, guys, but I'm not American. Millennial here. All I had to do was marry a girl, buy her a car, help her get her license back, and turn her loose on the streets to get T-boned by a DoorDash driver. DoorDash insurance payout $1,000,000. Profit. Disclaimer: I don't live in the house as of last week, but that's another story. I prefer a realistic dream, like going to Narnia through my closet. I'm early career, just started really. I make 60K, yin Canada. I will never be able to afford a Hussein my lifetime on just this wage, or any wage I'm likely to see in this field. My only chance is any inheritance I get, or hopping careers like I'm working on right now. Elder millennial here. I bought in 2018. Had no cash in hand. Utilized a program from my lender for low, moderate income buyers, not me, or those buying in low, moderate income zones, me, that required only 5% down. Took a 401k loan for the down payment, closing costs. Approximately $160, Philly townhome. Mortgage payment, PMI is less than the rent on my previous 2-bed Apton, the same neighborhood. Process was easy, but then again I'm familiar with it working in banking for 15+ years. I'd wager the biggest struggle for most millennials and Gen Z is the cash for down payment and closing. To that end, ask about low down payment programs from your lender and/or hope to God you have some of those money bags boomer relatives that can gift you cash. The only way I can afford to have a home at this point is if I buy raw land, harvest and process the trees to build it myself. I can afford to pay $10,000 a year on rent, but the bank doesn't think I can afford $7,000 a year mortgage. Person shrugging medium light skin tone male sign. Person shrugging medium light skin tone male sign.
Guys and amp. Girls, what would be your response if your partner proposed open relationship? You are open to leave. Ask them who they want to *UCK. Unfortunately, this has happened to me before. Should have ended it there, but I dragged it out a bit longer. I would need more details. Open relationships take a lot of trust and communication. There needs to be equity on both sides. I would ask questions like, why is this being brought up now? How do you feel about each of us having another partner? Or is this just a you thing? What happens when those partners want other partners, too? I would likely ask questions about gender preferences and how we would handle testing for STDs. Is this just a sexual thing, or more like a full-blown relationship? How much time will be allocated to this relationship? Will these relationships all be separate and distinct? If I had children, I would ask about what, if anything, would be shared with them. If this discussion becomes uncomfortable, then the current relationship probably needs to be reassessed and maybe counseling should be considered, if the plan is to stay together, open or not. Edit, typos, and thanks for the award. I once asked what my spouse thought of open marriages. Yeah, neither of us like that idea. It's just not my idea of a good relationship at all. I am a one-woman guy and always will be. If they would like any other man, or men, then they John have them, just count me out of it. Ever fathom that? Cry. Deleted. Weren't we already in one? Goodbye. I would terminate our relationship, whether it's breaking up or divorce. Saves the both of us a whole lot of heartache and drama. My wife has a lot of medical issues, and at one point X wasn't really an option. She told me that I could have an open relationship on my end if I wanted. My response was an immediate no. I'm married to her. I love her. There isn't anyone else in this world. I'd rather be with her, and that I would wait as long as she needed or indefinitely if that was the case. I am with her, not her *Agina. Edit. Wow, I thought my post was going to be mostly ignored. Thank you for the awards, you Ariel generous people. Why would you wait a quarter century to suggest this? Nobody else wants to sleep with us now. Stop it. That would be the end of it for me. I can totally respect that being how someone wants to live their life, but that isn't for me. I'm a head out. My daughter's dad tried this and then proceeded to give me an ultimatum. I was about 10 months postpartum and my libido hadn't really recovered yet, not to mention I was at the peak of my PPD. It wasn't a totally dead bedroom, but not nearly as soften as we used to. He kept asking me for a threesome, which was great timing considering my self-esteem was already at an all-time low. So naturally I refused and told him to never ask me again. He then said he either needs an open relationship to satisfy his needs or he wanted to break up. So I told him he's not getting my permission to cheat on me and we're done. We still lived together for a few months for financial reasons, but from that point on we were roommates and co-parents. He still gives surprised Pikachu face at the fact I am cold to him.
What normal word do you hate so much that you can't stand to read or hear it? Hubby. I immediately judge the person using this word. Loose when people use it in place of lose. OMFG. Defiantly, as someone that used to proofread a lot of papers, 99% of the time they are misspelling definitely. It's so common that spell-checking software should just mark it incorrect anytime it's used to save everyone the hassle. This. As in, the standard response of agreemento, a social media post. Sends me into a mini rage every time I see it. Niche. But only when someone pronounces it, niche. When I finally snap, this will be why. Bussy. Panties. Phlegm. Megma. Not a word but a phrase. Yuck your yum. Makes Moana Uckin scream for no real reason other than I hate it lol. Slurry. My wife uses it in connection with food or drink prep. I think of it as sewage. I hate corporate office talk. Literally. This word is overused and used incorrectly. I'm so sick of hearing it. Based. I am 40 years old and I still have no idea what it means, and at this point I am afraid to ask. Filibuster. It sounds like an overrated sandwich from a hitty chain restaurant like Chili's. I always cringed hearing the word daddy when it was used in the context of referring to one's partner.
What's something schools need to stop teaching children? We don't tolerate bullying, my SS. Either actually do something to get both the bully and the victim the help they need, or just admit you can't be asked to enforce your rules. That their school work is more important than their physical and mental health. No kid should feel thathy would be better off dead than failing. That there's no consequences for violent behavior. Kids will regularly assault other kids, teachers, and they'll be back in the same room as their victims they assaulted by the end of the day. You won't be allowed to get away with X when you get to college. You can get away with just about anything legal in college. Your professors don't give a** hit so long as you aren't annoying them. That everyone is meant for college. Not to hit back. First of all, why are there so many aggressive kids? BC, when I was a kid, we'd be getting suspended and expelled. Abstinence-only sexual education. It doesn't work. It doesn't prevent teen pregnancies. If you want to prevent teen pregnancy, teach kids about birth control and condoms. That you can shut down every confrontation with, it doesn't matter who started it. Of course it fucking matters who started it. You wanna tell me it doesn't matter in 1939 who started it between Germany and Poland? It makes no difference that Russia invaded Ukraine and not the other way around? There was a girl in my high school who got suspended for threatening to commit suicide in her school's Gmail account. They then called the whole school into the auditorium and the assistant principal told us not to talk about stuff like Thetan, our school accounts, because you'll get caught. Because apparently that's how you deal. Kids struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts? You punish them?
What is the world's worst country to live in? Haiti. Besides the mind-crushing poverty, AIDS, gang warfare, political chaos and lack of proper infrastructure, it is an earthquake and hurricane magnet. It's not even a popular tourist country. Mauritania. Legit real-life slavery happens. No hidden away slavery. Slave market slavery. Somalia, no government since the 90s. Warlords ruling parts of the country. Somalia. North Korea. Enjoy the best of both worlds of abject poverty and totalitarian government. There was one documentary where a North Korean was interviewed on where he would want to go for vacation if he could. He said East Germany or Czechoslovakia. Yes, you read that right. Two countries that haven't existed for decades. No clue. That hit makes 1984 sound not so crazy. I'd honestly rather live in Ukraine than that god-forsaken place. Eritrea. If you're a woman, probably Afghanistan. Burundi is the world's poorest country when its GDP is measured per capita based on PPP, purchasing power parity. President Pierre Nkurunziza has made jogging an illegal activity since 2014. He said that people could use it as a cover for planning anti-government rebellions. Contrary to popular opinion, the US isn't a terrible country to live in.